All right, so I promise you that I'll get through this as quick as I can. I won't rush through it. Ask as many questions as you want, same format as we did last week, okay? All right, I'm going to concentrate on something here. I put a little diagram up there. We've done the competitor stuff. You're going to see that a little bit more. The premise behind everything that I'm going to talk about is a fantastic marketing tool, and it is called a SWOT analysis, okay? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, all right? The actual diagram and the way it's kind of drawn like that, you can draw it a few different ways. But there's actually a yin and a yang and a push and a pull, right, with these things, okay? And you can apply it to lots of different marketing scenarios, and it's very important that you kind of understand the premises behind it, right? It might sound obvious, but what are your strengths, right? Really figure that out compared to your competitors. All of this work that you've done, now start thinking, how am I stronger? How am I better? It may not just be about your products, it may be about your executive team that you're pulling together, right? Likewise, conversely to that, what's my threats? Or where are my weaknesses? It may be that you've identified certain things within the market that you just cannot meet, or you cannot get to, okay? But your competitors can. That's a weakness. Now you could also turn that around, just word it slightly different. It's an opportunity, right? If you can answer what those requirements are, or identify what those needs are, to really turn that weakness into an opportunity. Okay? Likewise, I mentioned this the other day, think about the executive team that you're pulling together. What are the weaknesses on your team? You may be the best developer in the world, and that's totally great. Then go find a good marketing person or a good CEO, right? Because being the CEO may drive you nuts all day long, doing P&Ls and positioning statements and all of that stuff and trying to do funding. You just want to concentrate, go building the product. Nothing wrong with that. Just identify it early in the process so that you figure out who to go get. Because it's a weakness. Okay, so when I talk about SWOT, it is marketing, and we're going to concentrate on product here, but think about a SWOT that you can use in any environment. You can do a SWOT around your own product. You can do a SWOT around your own delivery of that product, right? Make sense?
I will see what are my strengths or my strengths against my competitors.
Both.
Okay.
Both, right? Yeah, I mean the SWOT, you'll see some examples of them coming up. SWOT can be very detailed. It can be very abstract, okay? You can take the SWOT from an abstract perspective, just take one point in the SWOT and now create a separate SWOT, right, down to the detail about a particular point. But it's very good at helping you identify where you're at, okay? I can't emphasize it enough. Do it yourselves. The exercise that comes out of this at the end of today will be you've got to do a SWOT analysis, right? And we're going to go through that in detail with you, but right, it's very important to do things like this. All right, never forget, this is the basis before of all the things that we're talking to, but more importantly, why we're going to go into the SWOT, right? Here's your customer, very educated customer in this day and age because of the internet. Thank you, internet. Well, that's great. Oh my God, thank you, internet, because now you have to be very much prepared and have that information out there. Okay? Customers buy for lots of different reasons. Expertise, price, your attributes. Okay? People buy from people they like, things like that. People want aspirational things like MacBooks, like Teslas, everything like that is inspirational, okay? So there's lots of different reasons why people buy. It's not always this. It really isn't. Everybody will try and haggle you down on something, of course it exists, right? But it isn't. This isn't a driving factor in 95% of people's decision-making process. Okay. So, I've talked about, the SWOT. What is it? Competitive analysis. We're going to go into that. I've just said all this in terms of what a SWOT really is. It is the strengths, the weaknesses of an organization. We've done the mission, the objectives. We've looked at marketing assessments. This really is once we do the SWOT, we know our assumptions and our marketing strategies, that becomes your strategic market planning. It's where we're kind of going to with the message, right? And again, this is really important. If we can get so granular down into it, jokingly said, hey, but if we put Egyptian music in the back, well, if it generates you $100 million more so than just $2 million because you put, I don't know, someone else's music on the website, right? That's what it's all about. Okay, here are my examples, and I'm going to run through them as I usually do, right? The Ubers, the Teslas, and the DoorDashes. This I thought was just amazing, right? If you look at Uber and if you break it down, their market segmentation, they've been going for a few years. 2015, who was actually paying for their services? If you remember what I told you before, they were targeting students, right, in San Francisco, and who were tech savvy. Well, you know, it turns out that after, you know, once this thing started going live and everything was good, it's actually young professionals who have a bit of money in their pocket, is the guys that were using Uber mostly. So, what did Uber do? Then they put together a SWOT analysis, they looked at their strengths, and you know, if you look at it here, where's my little light? Is that at the top?
No,
in the middle? Is that it? Oh, there we go. Look, currently has the largest market share amongst all the mobile ride-sharing apps, expanded the most in terms of size, you know, largest and most valuable ride-sharing company in the world, huge strength, right? Uber's app is widely acknowledged to be reliable and user-friendly. Okay, you know, we look at some of the weaknesses. Well, company's been operating at a loss, and still is, even though they turn over billions of dollars, right? Uber still expressed safety concerns about the ride-sharing app, and they have concerns about the app's privacy policy. And if you saw just last week, Facebook again got hit 50 million, you know, accounts, right? So you think about this is weakness. You know, I'm a user of this, what's happened to my private data? This is something you will all have to think about. All right, fierce competition from Lyft. Didi, Kawaii, Taxi for Sure, obviously Karim locally here. You know, the company has been banned from operating in many cities. Right now they can't operate in London. Banned. Yeah. You know, the underlying message there is, you know, we're banning you for now. You've got to get your house in order. Some of these things up here. Safety concerns, right? Deregulated drivers. And if you know a little about, I'm sure you've all seen pictures of London, we have our famous London taxis, right? So there is a little bit of protectionism going on for that market, for sure. But they're banned. The whole city cannot use it. Company's been banned. All right, Uber recently, yeah, loads of courts. I mean, gosh, $209 million lawsuit that they're facing for its driver, the driverless thing that they did. Opportunities, look at this. They're only operating in 60 countries. They've not entered into 100 more. I mean, it's just, their market is incredibly large. How the hell do you focus around that, right? I mean, there's huge things that these guys got to do. They're developing other things that are going to grow their money, like we talked about it, Uber apps, Uber Food, Uber Eats, Uber sharing, you know, a bunch of other things that these guys are doing. Okay, which, you know, again, is going to keep just getting that marketing machine and that company growing and growing and growing. Tesla, right? We're going to go into their SWOT in a minute, but, you know, market share objectives. Well, okay, they know that Nissan is going to stay as the market leader just in churning out cars. That's not where they want to be. Okay, BMW, very high on innovation. VW kind of behind Nissan, kind of mediocre, producing a lot of cars. And smart technology has a completely different business model, right? This is what Tesla want to do, okay? They want to be they want to stay and they want to be the leader of all electric vehicles by 2020. I think it's a huge statement to make, but there you go. This is their positioning. So, strengths. You know, I was talking about individuals. You may be the strength of your company. It's a strength, believe you me. Okay? You might be known already as the guy to go-to for anime in Jeddah, right? That's a huge statement. Elon Musk certainly is known as, that for electric cars, right? It's also a bit of a weakness if you've been looking at the press lately. He's come out and said some pretty crazy things, right? He's been, doing silly things as well that probably shouldn't talk about, but I think you understand where I'm going. He's also, sort of defocused because he has SpaceX, which is another company that he manages. Weakness, price, they are at the top end. There are a lot of disruptors coming into this marketplace. You look at the threats, competition from the established auto companies, this is actually getting really, really strong. If you look at the diagram that I put up there last week when we were talking about market segmentation and where people were going, a lot of companies now have a bunch of electric vehicles. And again, gosh, we are big in the US, we're suing everybody for everything all the time, right? But, anything that happens from a Tesla perspective, it all ends up in a lawsuit. But however, their market is growing, they're bringing out new lower priced models. If you look at the Tesla 3 that's coming out, and that is aimed at you guys, right? It's aimed at, anywhere in between 25 and 30 to 35. This is a huge opportunity for them, right? Because as they increase, they are the #1 leader in battery technology. Other people buy their batteries, right? That's huge. All right, so again, some further competitor analysis that sort of sits behind that, where different people see, what they see as threats and what they see as actions that they have to take based on those threats. This is a huge one, right? It's a future threat to Tesla because Tesla decided to enter the premium market near the 30,000 price point. GM will come in at 20,000. Now, Tesla have the branding and the badge and they want to the aspirational brand, but if you don't really care about all of that, you're going to go buy the cheaper car, right? All right, some other competitive disadvantages these guys have. And again, maybe this doesn't, play obviously directly to you, but look at this. Tesla can't operate here in the US. They can't go sell their cars. They can only sell them on the blue states, right? The typical,
What's the reason?
Oh, it could be regulation. It could be, not really surprising in this one, giving its, huge oil, manufacturer, right? So again, a lot of it is legislation, government control. Right. But these are things that you guys will have to face within your own markets. Where's Mr. Tritter? He was just sitting down. There's some government regulation that he's going to have to work his way through. Well, that's a huge opportunity if he gets it right. It's a huge threat if it doesn't happen. Huh?
Humanity.
Yeah, exactly. You guys as well, right? First time I met you, first thing you ever said to us is, "Oh my, we've got to figure out this government landscape," right? But again, what are the strengths with that? Huge opportunity for you, right? How are you going to manage it? What are you going to do to it? How are you going to drive it and actually get through all the hurdles? Okay, that's some of the disadvantages. Again, huge thing, right? And I know this personally. I'm going to go buy a Tesla. In fact, the only way I got my wife to move where we were moving to was because I said I'd buy her a Tesla. Because it was in the commute lane and all that stuff, and she needed to commute to work. Well, on the spreadsheet, and you actually work it all out, gas is still so cheap. My return on investment was like 15 years on that car. How'd you explain that to your wife, right? She bought the aspirational brand, right? We didn't buy the Tesla, by the way. But as you can see, you've got to look at the market, you've got to understand things, right? So, gas is slowly going back up in price now. Okay, so the cost of ownership is coming down on that Tesla. One of the things as well that right now is an advantage, but it's going to get dropped. Where is it? Is it up here? Maybe it's on the next slide. There's for electric vehicles in California and also the US generally at the federal level, you get incentives or tax rebates for buying electric cars. Okay, that's going away. That's going away. All right, competitive strategy. Again, where did Tesla see? You know, Vauxhall, you guys did a nice job of this, right? Of where you're positioning yourself. So Tesla again, and I encourage all of you to do a little graph like this in terms of where you think you are price-wise. So now you know who your competitors are, right? What are you aiming to do? Are you more high quality, better print? Yeah? Are are the pages thicker and is it a better feel? So therefore it's high quality, high price, right? All the things comes as a trade-off. Really, you have to decide where you kind of fit on this.
This graph only shows you two features that you compare yourself.
Pick the best two.
One of the best two.
So with
Yeah.
this
Price versus quality of my vegetables.
Right.
Whatever's, again, they said you can only show kind of two dimensions on this, but pick the best two because everybody really kind of likes to look at those. You just say, hey, here's where we
As a
are.
marketing.
Yeah. I mean, yours may be, you're going to have competitors coming in with other drones and offering similar services. Guarantee it will happen to you. Your major strength may be on your quality of service, your response to your customers. We're nice guys to deal with. Whatever it is, find your differentiation, right?
That shows the potential.
Remember, I kept asking the question, and all those big graphs. Where's your biggest competitive differential? If you have one, if you have something that really is it, put it on the graph like that. Just make it well known. Say, here's where we are. Nobody can touch us.
But to show them that they have a high price, that's a drawback for them.
Not necessarily. It depends what market you're in. If you can defend a higher price, that's even better.
I don't know, last time I checked, Armani were charging $2,000 for their suits, right? You can buy a suit for $100, right? There's a reason for that, okay? High quality, aspirational brand, of course, but definitely the design, the cut, all of those things are very important, But you're in a price point and an income level that can afford a suit like that.
Choose one thing. Is the price or the quality?
Right, right. Okay, again, Tesla's marketing strategy, okay? Don't think you're going to solve all of these things today. It isn't going to happen, right? You have to start somewhere, put a stake in the ground around that, and go laser focused to your people in Jeddah to make it happen, okay? As you grow as a company, you will always have a marketing strategy as to where you want to get to, and Tesla's we need to prove out this thing called battery cars. Right? Nobody really bought this thing over here, this Tesla Roadster. It was $150,000 when it first came out. If you were spending $150,000, there were a lot of other nicer cars because gas is cheap, right? But extremely, inspirational, great idea. But it was a proof point and launching pad for this thing here, okay? Which is the main Tesla model that hit the market, okay? About 4 years ago now. Where did Tesla really want to be? They brought this one out kind of as a pseudo SUV type vehicle. It's got the gull wings, right, that comes up in the back. It's cool, right? If you actually see it on the road, it kind of looks a bit like a jelly mold, if you ask me. But anyway, huge and very expensive car, right? And again, this was selling like hotcakes to all those 35-year-old executives that work for STC, okay? Ooh, did I say that? But where do they want to get to? This is where they want to get to, right? And this is the car that they just released. And then they're going to release, another cheaper version. They're going to release an SUV. But this is mass market stuff. But you've got to start somewhere, right? Whoa, this is the eye chart. I'm sorry, can't really read this. But this is, you guys did a really good, job of this. I mean, seriously, all of you, hands down, you did a fabulous job about defining what you are, what all the things that are in your marketplace, and about who your competitors are and how you stack up against them. And this is what DoorDash is here. And I encourage you to go read it, because again, it's interesting reading. You'll see the usual stuff in there: tech savvy, young people looking for something better, high quality. Not sure of all the chemicals that they're getting on the food they're buying from Safeway. All this stuff, right, which is really important to these guys. However, again, look at this. If you look at, DoorDash's competitive financial landscape, they're way down here, right, in terms of percentage of market which they have. Grubhub is the biggest one in the US. I think DoorDash is a much better service, but these guys were there first. Don't ever, discount being there first with what you guys are doing. As long as you can, keep maintaining and growing that position. These guys are certainly on the ups, but there is, there's a lot of people that can provide this out there. So now you're into differentiation, and how are you going to do something to be disruptive to take away this other market, right? And we're going to talk about that in a little while. All right. Any questions so far? No? You want to take over? More marketing? Right. Okay.
How can we get this started? Are they in the shared folder?
Yeah, Laura, everybody, they're in the shared folder, correct? Laura? Yeah. Again, great job all of you earlier on. If I can encourage you to just break things down granularly into the market a little bit better, okay? I think one of the things that I was very interested to explore with you is, hey, I'm going to get to my 21 to 45-year-olds, was it 49, 60-year-olds? 45-year-olds. But one of the things you also said was, gosh, some other companies have got the rights on books and, bestsellers don't sell. So, how do you target? How do you figure out what books I should be putting on my website that I can maximize the download capability? Because 21 to 45-year-olds, they're very different, right? So it's how do you focus on that? How do you laser focus that?
You actually segment those this
Right.
range, which is from 21 to 45. We segment them as well.
Right.
Based on their ages.
Right. Okay. But if you took all that segmentation, we don't have to get into it, and you actually kind of map that into a Venn diagram, you would end up with your laser-focused target. And it may be a 28-year-old mom with X income, based in Jeddah. I don't know, right? But that's where you've really got to get to and start. Then you build up your marketing campaign around that. All right, so Uber's marketing strategy, you're going to hear this a lot from me, a bit. Word of mouth marketing is huge, and all of you guys can benefit from it. Why? Why is it important? It's free. It's really free, right? Nobody gets you another customer like somebody making a referral. Think about what I just said. Nobody gets you another customer like somebody making a referral. It might sound like it's obvious, so look after the person who gave you the referral, right? Uber did a great thing here with early adopters, okay? They gave referrals two ways, right? If you did a referral, hey, you got a free ride. Great, I've got 2 customers. I have to give away 1 free ride, but they're both going to keep using me, right? I mean, it was huge, and it really does work. Some guy amassed over $50,000 in referral credits. I mean, that's a lot of Uber use, right? If you think about it, it's a lot of rides, okay? But the benefit to you as a company is immense. If you're giving away $50,000 worth of credits, there's $1 billion of revenue coming in, right? So think about that. I mean, we're the salary guys, maybe there's, or you guys, maybe there is, hey, we're rewarding you. This month, there's a reward. You've been a great customer to us. You have 10% off next month, promotional period. Thank you for buying 3 magazines this week. Next week, you get 20% off, Just think about that. And again, it's promotional, the word gets out, the word spreads, and it's cool, and it's hip, and it's fun. Gosh, look at this. They had loyalty programs. Again, think about loyalty programs with your customers, right? Excellent, huge, right? People, again, I go back to once you establish yourselves as a brand, and think of this in your own personal lives. I bet you buy Cadbury's chocolate, you buy, I don't know, Heinz baked beans, or you buy, the brands which you grew up with and you loved with. It hasn't changed, and it isn't going to change, apart from the disruptive ones that come in, like Uber, right? So again, people will stay with you if you and prove loyalty to you very, very easily, okay? Uber keep going, right? They do stunts. I mean, they did this, where is it? You could, yeah, this one was pretty cool. Again, just, I like it because it's just good. And it's easy to do when you've got money, don't get me wrong. But you know, they had celebrities in the car when you turned up. And it was fun, right? But again, the word spread. Everybody liked it. And you know, it's a marketing ploy. I think this one is, you know, very, very important. Reviews. Reviews, again, it's not just customer reviews, right? This was really good because it went two ways. It was driver reviews. It gave you the opportunity as a customer to rate your driver. And the driver with an Uber didn't want his, you know, his certain status to be down low. Because when you're down low on the Uber app as a driver, you don't get the rides. You're second choice. Right? I don't know if you guys knew that, right? But that's how it works. So there could be 10 drivers out there, all looking to pick somebody up from work tonight, and only the drivers that have a high rating get given the call first. So, you know, think of this. You know, what Uber did, this a thing called omni-channel, that means they disrupted the whole market. They looked at it holistically. It wasn't just about providing cars. It wasn't just about providing a taxi turning up. It was, how do we make the whole experience better? From the app all the way through to the guy turning up in the car. So again, look at your own things that you do. How are you going to make it better? You know, if you're providing a podcast to download, I can go to iTunes to do that. How is it going to be better from your website? The experience, the interaction, the sharing of information. You guys are the generation of sharing information more than anyone before.
What is Omni?
Omni. Omni just means one. Brings it all together holistically, as I said. So they looked at drivers, how to make the experience better for the driver. Yeah? How to make the experience better for you as the user. Oh, this one was huge in the US. Who believe it, in a tip-based society? Yeah? It's great. Just give me your credit card, away you go. You turn, you don't have to find an extra, you know, $5, $10 to pay the, you know, to pay the driver.
The tip here is 5 star. Please give me 5 star.
Exactly. Same thing. Yeah, please rate me. All right, this is my favorite slide, okay? And I'm going to go back to what I said before. This is Elon Musk's marketing budget. Why am I in a job? I mean, seriously. This is the marketing budget at Tesla. Now, I'm going to break that down a little bit for you, but this is it. Because they firmly believe in a couple of things. You build the right product, you get the word out there, the rest looks after itself, okay? That means it's a self-perpetuating marketing plan, right? So my service is better than anybody else. Why? Because it's cool, it's hip. Well, I want to be cool and hip. I want that service, yeah? I mean, it's the whole reasoning behind the perfume industry. If you think about it, right? Everything in perfume is aspirational brands. You look at turn over the pages, and last time I checked in the mirror, I look like Ronaldo. So whatever Ronaldo's wearing me, oh, I want that. Make me like Ronaldo. That's aspirational selling, okay? It's all it is. But these guys went kind of the next stage, right, to that. Why do they have it? It is a brilliant marketing strategy, okay? If you can become this thing here, and forget the showmanship, that's not what I mean, the industry visionary, be known in your industry as the person that is disrupting this marketplace. As I said, Elon Musk, it's easy to pick on Musk and Jobs and all those guys, right? But as I said, he just coined phrases like, you know, the combustion engine car. He made it sound old-fashioned, right? And he targeted tech-savvy young people who, you know, buy Macs and have nice incomes and want to drive something a little bit different, right? But in all the stuff that if you look on the web, they don't make cars, they sell a slice of the future. No TV commercials, no advertising space, none of the traditional things that you want. They don't have showrooms for their cars. Their showrooms, traditionally, if you think about the US marketplace, if you go to buy a car, you have to go to something called Capital Auto Expressway, right? And all the dealers are lined up against each other. And you go from one to the other, you haggle, you it's a horrible experience buying a car in the US. I mean, it is awful, okay? You're dealing with a sales guy, he has to go, he says, I have to go talk to his manager, he goes behind a big plate of glass, the one-way mirror, they're all sitting there looking at you, you don't know that. It's a horrible experience, and it takes hours to buy a car. It's awful. Elon Musk said, we're not doing that. So we're going to put our shops, where? On Rodeo Drive, in the middle of San Francisco, right, in high aspirational areas. And guess what? We're only going to put one car in there. That's all we're going to do. Oh, you want that car? You've got to order online. No, you can't have that one. Oh, and by the way, it's going to take 2 years for you to get that car. What? I better get in line. Here's my money. Everything's built to order. Yeah? I mean, it was like when they brought out the 3 Series. 2 years before they brought out the 3 Series Tesla, they started taking orders from them. Elon Musk didn't spend 1 penny on advertising. Every single news agency, news anchor was there. Every single one. They were queuing around the block, just like an Apple store when an Apple store releases an iPhone. Why? Just get their name down. We had kids from obviously wealthy families. They were there with their dads at 14 years old, because when he gets his license at 16, the car would be out. He wanted to get his name down. I mean, how nuts is that? But the whole point is, free advertising, wherever you can get free advertising, go get it. And your customers are the best people to give you free advertising. If you have a good experience with somebody, blog about it. Get them to blog about it. Get them up on your website as the perfect example of somebody who's really happy with your service. Find something that's disruptive. As again, Tesla, love this story here. They're selling a slice of the future. Yeah? The old way of doing things is dead. Guess what, guys? This way's the best way. It may not be, but it led to the belief that it is. Okay, I've said most of this, right? There's no Tesla dealerships. Transactions are conducted online. I mean, $100,000 cars bought online. It's pretty cool. There's no inventory. Everything's built to order. 5K deposit. You don't see the car. You have to wait for months or years to get it. We're building a dream, guys. The other industry that's really good at doing this is the wine industry. Sorry, guys, the wine industry is. Right? They call it futures. So the hush goes out. There's a new winery that's developing a wine, and the word's on the street. Oh yes, you can buy in. You can buy in 4 years when it comes out of the barrel. Oh yeah, I want to be part of that. It's the same thing. You can apply it to any industry. DoorDash. This is, something again from a positioning statement and why they stay on top of their customers, and they're very good at doing this, right? Again, they work across all 3 sides of their business. Okay, so it isn't just if you're delivering to the home, it isn't just about your customers. You got to remember, you're setting up a business, and there will be competitors that come in against it. So keep your suppliers happy. Okay, offer them promotions. For you, it'd be the same thing, right? Your publishing houses or your artists, right? Keep them happy. You want them to stay with you and not with somebody else. Yeah? For home delivery, whoever's delivering your food, if your brand is that they need to wear that nice t-shirt, that nice pair of jeans, and that nice, pair of shoes, then enforce it, because it's your image. If he turns up, with, as I call it in America, a burrito stain down his shirt, who wants to buy from him, right? So, keep everybody happy, look at all sides of your business. The dashers, in this case, they're the runners, they're the people who actually do the delivery, and, stay track on it. This, I thought, was huge, right? They're trying to create a brand which just isn't about delivering food, okay? They actually want to build a global, it's coming your way, guys, a global logistics delivery, company, a global logistics company. That's where they want to go. So it isn't, for you, it isn't about Jeddah, it isn't about Riyadh, it's about you want to build something that's going to deliver across the MENA region, this content. Because if you're targeting folks in Jeddah, what's stop somebody in Riyadh should be able to press a button and buy online, right? And I think you might be free to go after this. All right, as I said, so tonight, okay, and put together, work on this, and hopefully on Thursday. I think, when are we, next Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Yeah. Create a SWOT analysis of your company against your top competitors. Okay? Your top competitors. And if you don't have them, that's probably why you're looking at kind of, right? That you do have competitors. It may not be exactly your online competitor, it could be an offline competitor, right? You're disrupting, right? Uber didn't have any competitors. They actually had a huge competitor called every taxi company in the world, right? So again, think about what your SWOT analysis against your offline competitors or your online competitors, whoever it may be. Okay? Make sense? Yeah? You're done. But I'm happy to hang out and answer any questions you have. But if you guys, you've been very good today and you've been excellent. You've been sitting here a long time and I appreciate that. And I'm respectful of your time.